Welcome, Fred. So our podcast is never broke again. So there's not many people I know other than Fred Cary that'll never be broke again. So I told Andrew, and Andrew's like, let's have him on. Let's throw Fred on there and just chat on how you got to where you are and just share some insight with people. Andrew, you got anything you want to talk to Fred about?
Why isn't he ever going to be broke again? That's what we want to know, right?
Okay.
From what I know about Fred is he's just consistently gone to the next level. Whenever he's mastered something, he's always just added something to it and then built a team around him. But Fred can talk more about that.
Yeah. So do you guys have a structure around this? Do you start a show? Do you just start asking me questions? So are you going to cut and paste?
We're just spitballing.
Okay. All right. And so
no structure, all recorded.
Okay. So is this going to be a video podcast or just audio?
Both.
Okay. So should I is it okay having the blurry background?
You're good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay. Yeah, it makes my eyes stand out.
There you go.
Okay. So go ahead, ask me a question. You want to know?
Go ahead, Andrew.
I mean, what Josh is saying, you're never going to go broke again. So what's the reason he's saying that?
Well, I think the reason is the biggest difference between most of us and some of us is diversification and passive income, right? When you start growing and start having your business take off and do well, things are going really well, it's always important to start diversifying and start putting some capital to work passively. And I think if you look at some of the biggest players around the world, that they all have that in common, that there's a passive element to the income that they have. So if they stop working, that they're still going to be receiving income from their passive investments. So that's one of the things that we as entrepreneurs or as people working for other companies, it's one of the things that we tend to fall short on. And number one, pay yourself first, right? That even when you're first starting out in life, when you're getting your first paychecks and you're making minimum wage, find some way to pay yourself something every single week from that paycheck. Make a habit of doing that and start turning that into a lifelong habit. Then as you start collecting enough capital, start deploying that capital in ways that can return income to you without you having to work for that income.
What's your favorite form of passive income?
Well, the stock market always works really well, and real estate always works really well. Those things are, if you look at commonalities again in some of the wealthiest people in the world, real estate holdings is something that's really, really up there. And most of the wealthiest billionaires have careers in securities and stocks and things like that. So that's not accidental. What I would talk about as being a poor thing to invest in over time are things that are really speculative. Like right now, literally 2 decades worth of people are betting everything on cryptocurrency. And so that's not what I would call a passive income that can weather the storm. Everybody's going to need a home. Not everybody's going to need a digital currency that's going to compete with the US dollar. Because at some point, the people that own the US dollar are not going to be very happy with that. So that's more of a speculative investment. I think if you're looking at diversifying in order to have income and make sure that you don't go broke, speculative ones are not part of the equation.
Sweet. How did you get started, Fred? Like, what was your first job when you first started getting rolling with everything?
Where I really first started was in I went from taco chips to computer chips, really. When I first started.
Taco chips to computer chips.
Yeah, I was living in South Florida. I had a girlfriend in San Diego, where I live now. And every time I came out here, I was just impressed with all the taco stands and Taco Bell and There was nothing over on the East Coast. And so I convinced an older person to help invest with me. And we established a whole bunch of taco shops on the East Coast. And that's where I first started making money. I went from there to concert production, to being an attorney, to starting 10 different technology companies, having 3 of them go public, 2 others acquired by public companies. And we still have one that's still private, Imagine Communications, that does about $800 million a year now. And half of the television systems in the world use our technology. So really all over the board. But during that whole process, when you set aside capital and have it available for you to have that additional income, that makes all the difference.
What was the name of the taco stands?
That was called Taco Viva, and they were acquired by Taco Bell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But in 3 years, we built 70 stores.
Holy cow. What'd you sell it to them for?
That's when I made my first million.
Nice.
2 years later, I lost my first million.
How'd you do that?
How'd that happen?
Cars, homes, women. I was 25. Yeah.
So you said you took 2 companies public. Did I hear that correctly?
That's right.
Okay. Are they still out there?
Yeah, they were acquired by bigger public companies.
Okay. What's the story on that? Did you start those, or were you the CEO of those?
Yeah, I came in right in the very beginning on both of those, and you just the story on those, the story on everything is find a hole. Like
Finding the what?
A hole. Go into a sector and finding a gap, a space, something that's not being serviced well within that sector. And you're looking for something that is large and growing, and the needs are not being met well, and there is an extraordinary need. If you can find all of those factors and find a place to play where nobody else is playing yet, then you can do really well. Like with Imagine Communications, when that first started in 2006, I know it was 2006 because somebody sent me an article of me talking about the future of television in 2006. Then HD and personalized television was really coming into play in the US. And the problem the cable companies had is their cable would hold 1 megabit of data. And that's not enough. Even back then, they needed 1.5 megs for an HD signal, and certainly a lot of interactivity and a lot of data for personalized television. We invented a technology that quadrupled their throughput. So that same 1 megabit cable now got 4 megabits, and which was enough for 2 HD signals and 1 standard definition signal. So it completely disrupted the game. Our first revenue year, we did 20 million. And now, as I say, it does $800 million a year and over 3 million products.
Wow. So who made that particular item?
We had a team of about 50 engineers in Israel that spent a year and a half developing the technology that could support that. I mean, that's not a minimal task to use digital technology to quadruple the throughput of anything. You know, most of the time, if you can get an incremental benefit of 10 or 15%, you're really doing something. But in that industry, that would do nothing to the industry, because that still wouldn't give them enough to be able to play in the HD world.
Crazy. So all of that helps YouTube videos and everything like that, because the HD is so much more crisp than your normal picture, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Dang, that's super cool.
And what year was that? When did that happen?
2006.
That was 06. So it's a little bit over my head, that particular. I'm curious. So it was like a microchip, or it was?
No, they were complete hardware systems. You would put one in your central office, and you would put one all the core fringes of your system, so that the way cable works is you have the main cables going into different neighborhoods, and then you have a box there where things spread out. So you need a unit at one of those boxes, and then you need a central unit in what they call the central office, and those units would take the signal and by magic, it's not really magic, but it's patented, and literally quadruple the signal. And obviously they're still being used. There's over, I think something like $55 billion worth of ad spend a year goes through the Imagine Communication Systems.
Wow. That's and you're the owner or CEO? That's the one that's not public, or is that public?
No, it's not public, and no, I'm just I'm long gone. I'm just passively involved.
Oh, okay. So you generate it sounds like a passive income as well from there. I've got another $1 billion idea from you I came across. So you can let me know if it's $1 billion idea, right? So we've been tinkering around in the solar industry. Do you have any knowledge there?
Sure.
Okay, so the batteries that's installed in the homes, they can only house, apparently they can only store a teaspoon worth of energy. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, because if for the homes to go completely off the grid, right? The battery has to be able to store enough from the solar power to last through the night. Okay, so right now, the batteries, they don't. It's it's minimal. It'd be like I don't remember, Josh, what was it? Maybe 2 to 3 hours tops, possibly less. They compared it to a teaspoon. So that it kind of reminds me of this quadrupled, right? This quadrupled concept. So the hope is that Elon Musk, who runs basically a battery company, is going to be able to figure this out. That way, potentially, the whole country or the whole world can come off the grid and just go straight solar. Because the reason that the grid is required is because the solar can't go at all times, because there's technically not a battery that can store it at whole. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah, one of my friends owns one of the largest battery companies in the U.S. that is trying to do precisely that, put more juice in the system.
Is that a hole? Is that a hole in the industry?
Yeah, it's a hole. They're actually going commercial, and there's an ability for commercial landlords to really be the utility for their buildings as well, by using a combination of solar and battery power.
Right.
That's cool. Fred, talk to us a little bit about like what you're doing now. Like, I know you have a lot of things going on with the company and like what you've been doing on social media and some stuff like that. Where did all of that come from?
Well, IdeaPros came from an extraordinary desire to punish myself. It's the most rewarding work I've ever done, but it's also the hardest work by far that I've ever done. We have about 350 entrepreneurs that, as you know, Josh, that typically come to us with an idea, and we work with them together to get it to a nationwide launch. It's really hard being an entrepreneur, and when you multiply that times 350, there's fires every single day in one project or another all the time. So what's really cool about it, though, is we're really enabling people to have an unfair advantage. Even if it takes longer, it's done better, it's positioned better, and at the end we have the context to really do something with things once they launch. So that's really cool. And about last June, I think it was, I decided to start a social media page on Instagram to really talk about giving back, having a positive mindset, understanding that the world is not fair. The world doesn't owe anybody anything. You got to work your ass off, and only you are going to make a difference in your life. There's nobody going to be giving you handouts to make a difference. And that really resonated. Within a year here now, we have, I think, 455,000 followers. a lot of interaction. I started with Alejandra, another page called Mentor and Muse on TikTok. And in 5 months on TikTok, we have 155,000 followers. We have 66 million views of our videos already, over 1 million likes. And so there's a very engaged audience over there. It's got a little bit more lighthearted / couples version of the same type of messaging. You know, you're responsible for your own life. And by the way, it's passing you by right while you're sitting here figuring out what the fuck to do. And so,
Yeah.
you know, just getting people to grab every single day and make something happen out of each day.
Yeah. I remember seeing that picture of you with the Corona.
Oh yeah, that's when I was 40.
You were jacked and stacked.
I was pretty damn cool then. If I was, no, I'm not going to say that completely inappropriate comment I was about to. So yeah, it's a look. I think people look for success, like overnight successes or working towards success and things of that nature. Success is really fleeting, and it's not this static item that you reach and you're there. You know, success is something that you chase all your life, and success can't just be about money. It has to be about the quality of your life, the value that you have, the friends around you, the relationships that you have, your giving back, your participation in the world. And if you understand that for every single success you have, there's a failure right around the corner, then you're going to be okay, because you're going to start saving, you're going to start having these passive incomes like we're talking about, and preparing yourself for that next bump in the road, understanding that those bumps and twists and turns in the roadway are really just, that's the road to your destination. And if you look at them as just a temporary obstacle instead of an end point, like most of us do, I'm a failure because that didn't work. No, you just got a bump in the road and you learn something, get your ass up and continue moving. If you can have that attitude and know that the success at the end, when you're getting ready to close your eyes for the last time, is thinking about the life that you led and making sure that you don't have any regrets, that's when you know you had a really good life.
True. What do you think separates like the rich from the ultra rich? Like, you know, someone who's successful and then someone who's like Fred Cary successful. Like, I'm sure there's people that you met through your life, Fred, that you're like, man, that person has just never reached their full potential. Like, what do you think held those people back?
Well, the difference between the rich and the uber rich, like you're talking about billionaires?
Yeah, or just like, you know, rich and where you are, or in that sort of sense. Like, I'm sure, I mean, there's always someone with a big
Where is he, Josh? I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm at either. But why don't I put it this way? The happiest you can be is having a balance in your life. And if you have a balance in your life, you're probably fairly likely not to be a billionaire. Because to be one, you really give up everything. You have to be so myopically focused on the financial elements of success or the conquering elements of success that you can't pay full attention to the other aspects of it. You know, better for most people to focus on having a really good life, which part of which is being comfortable and having enough money to be satisfied and not have to worry about the mortgage or the car payment, or if there's some emergency bill that happens, or having the luxury to be able to take 1 or 2 or 5 trips a year. You know, if you're going to be myopically focused on just the money part of it, maybe you can become a billionaire, but I don't believe they're the happiest people. But it's a lot easier to be miserable with $1 billion than not. But I don't think you need to reach for that.
Can you be happy and be a bit unhappy and be a billionaire? I think that'd be really hard. But Fred, you seem so zen-like, man. What do you like, meditate, or what is going on?
Yeah, I do. And I think that the most important component for people to really start changing their lives, the one thing that you can do overnight is change your mindset. right? You can't become a millionaire or a billionaire or get the best job in the world overnight or have the hottest girlfriend or boyfriend, but you can change your mindset literally overnight. And when you do that, you can immediately change your life. And so there's a couple of things that I recommend that people do. And I do these things every day. So when I first get up, I exercise. I have a trainer 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week that comes here. Like
What time do you get up?
Around 5. And first thing I do is make my bed. So, which is another thing that you should absolutely do. There's four little things that you can do to really set your life. Make your bed, exercise, read, and drink a lot of water. You do those 4 things and you're off to a good roll. Why make your bed? Because you start with having some structure in your life. When you come back tired at the end of the day and your bed's laying there all nicely made, feels good. Water, we're 60% water. Don't drink sodas and crap.
I thought it was 70% water. What time does your trainer wake? We'll get there.
6.
6. All right. So between 5 and 6, what are you doing?
So I am meditating. I am doing positive affirmations.
What do you do those in the mirror, or do you do anything like when you go to bed? Do you say stuff in your mind before you go to bed to brainwash yourself? Do you do that?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do it mostly in the morning. I do the gratitude, positive affirmations, meditation. I stretch and I read some. I think everybody should read. If it's a page, a paragraph, a chapter, whatever it is, you should read. We've gotten so far away because we've become so digitized. Don't read from this thing. Pick up a real book and just read something. Why? Because
what are you reading, Fred?
Anything.
What are you reading right now? What's Fred reading?
I should take you downstairs. Right now, I'm actually reading my book. I'm editing. I just finished a book and I'm doing the final edits on it. So I've been doing nothing but that for the last week. But,
is it going to be published?
Yeah. It's Random House is publishing it. It's on purpose-driven entrepreneurship. But I would say, and I don't care what you read a cookbook, read comics, read a classic, read motivational books, read a book on getting rich. It doesn't matter. The reality is that when you read something with a regular book, you're using your mind not just to understand the words, but to visualize what's going on. And so you're making your mind, it's like exercise for your mind, right? Just before or just after you do the exercise for your body, you do the exercise for your mind, and that gets you in a different mode, and that keeps you more alert. I constantly have people way younger than me saying, "Hey, where's my purse?" Well, I saw it over there 3 hours ago, or where are my keys? And my memory is really, really sharp because I'm constantly engaging it. And if you let it slip and you just become passive, we have 2 different types of people, right, in the world. We have the spectators, and we have the people that are the doers. And you'll have 20,000 people watching 10 people do something, right? And they're spectators, and they're just sitting there. They're paying to watch 10 people have a great life. And you have to become a doer a lot more. And you can still be a spectator, but do things. Get out, change your life. Day's long and the day's hard, but the day's gone forever when it's gone. And when you go to sleep, the thing that I think about when I go to sleep is not anything to jack up my mind. What I think about when I go to sleep, what did I do today? One thing that was worthwhile. And if you can have that one thing worthwhile every time you put your head down on the pillow, you're golden.
Have you done yours today?
I've done about 6 so far.
We only need 1 though.
I got up at 2 a.m. this morning. I went to bed early. I got 4 hours of sleep, got up at 2. I have a whole lot of things, and we got 2 months left in our in our year. We have our once a month partner meeting tomorrow evening for all the partners of IdeaPros. So I had a whole lot of work I needed to do. Didn't want to mess up the rest of my day, so I got up and worked from 2 to 5:30, and then I went and started the exercise routine.
You take a nap?
No, I don't nap.
No nap. No. How about coffee?
Oh yeah, I have a beautiful. have a beautiful espresso machine, and I was born and raised in Italy, so I make those cappuccinos with the hearts and everything on them. So.
Italy. So are you Italian or what?
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was born and raised in Italy. I lived in Europe till I was 16, and Italian mom, American dad. That's why I speak both languages, and I have both passports.
See, that's where the Zen comes from. That's where it's from. That's not American.
Yeah, I'm learning that. Guys, be Zen.
Yeah, that is not. You have this different aura about you. That is not. It's like a yoga teacher, but you're not. So it's the foreign aspect. I got it.
Yeah, I mean, Fred and I working on the project, we had COVID, and then I believe Fred's partner left to start his own thing, and then the supply chain's all messed up. Everything's messed up. However, the cool part is with the project is we have all these new people we can market to. So like Fred said, there's just the bumps in the road. Sometimes it ends up being better that way.
Well, you guys have a project together. So what's going on there? What's the status?
Well, you do what you can do, right? And sometimes things change. As Josh mentioned, we got so many different bumps in that road, not just for him, but everybody, including multinational companies, computer companies that can't even get chips and things.
The car industry is all shaken up because of that.
Yeah. The world is a disaster.
Does Josh's product fill a hole?
It does, but the way we're positioning it, golfers will take anything they can do to improve their game. They'll buy the newest clubs, they'll buy the sites, they'll do anything. But what they're not doing is they're not improving their game from within, which is the weakest part of your golf game. So we're taking Josh's product and we're trying to combine it with two other products that we have that all address together the mental aspects of the game. So we can guarantee that you're going to be a better golfer because we're going to get you focused on the hole in front of you, forgetting about what's behind you. We're going to avoid the distractions with a partner product that we have by having all the tools that you need for every hole right there at your fingertips without having to dig around for them. And we have kind of golf psychology. We have these cards that you're going to be able to utilize throughout the game to really keep your head in the game and get focused on what's in front of you, not worry about what your score is, not worry about what you did last hole. And that's kind of the missing ingredient for golfers. Do everything to get better, except better yourself. And so, yeah, there's a hole that we're filling for sure. And hopefully that hole ends at the tee.
Yeah, it sounds like that example seemed like a lot like entrepreneurship.
Yep.
So are you familiar with Dan Sullivan, Fred?
I am not. I probably should be, but I'm not familiar with very many people.
He wrote Who Not How and Gap in the Gain. I recommend him. But so basically he says, all right, something like this, you bring this to him, you say, all right, who's going to endorse this? Who's the pro that you're going to tie to it?
Oh, my little friend here seems to know everybody. So we've been talking to several, and I'm sure we'll have at least one or two.
Yeah, Andrew's met a few of them.
Sure, yeah, they're all over town.
Yeah, we're in a good place for golf. So that's awesome. Andrew, anything else?
Tell us something about your personal life, Fred. He froze. He's frozen. Frozen Fred.
He's coming back.
Is it me that froze?
Yeah,
you're good.
Tell us something about your personal life. I want, family or recreation.
Well, I live in beautiful La Jolla, California, by the beach, and so go out to the beach a lot, walk a lot. I have two girls I raised on my own while building 10 different companies. One's 29 now, works for me. The other's 20, just finishing up as a senior SDSU, San Diego State University, and studied early childhood development. She's going to go to grad school for a year and probably will teach elementary school at her alma mater, which is Rancho Santa Fe School. So proud of both girls. They're amazing human beings, and I'm really fortunate to be their dad.
Have you ever had like a challenge? I don't know, how old are you? 40, 45? Have you ever had a challenge over?
Well, wait, hold on. Let me interrupt you for a second. I love you.
Yeah, man. What have you had a challenge? Like some some people, I know I've had a couple challenges over my life. It seems like every 10 years something is life changing. Have you had anything like that in your life? It sounds like single dad. Maybe there was I don't know. There's something else going on, or something besides that. Is there?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Overcome.
divorce is a really tough thing. Divorce with kids is even tougher. And when I had an ex-wife that was asking for 85% custody, and I knew that that would be a horrible thing, because I don't want to get too much into it, but it would not have been a good thing. That was very, very stressful. When the court came out, they did make it 85% custody, but they gave me the 85%. So that was also the most amazing day of my life when my stupid ass attorney contacted me. You know, they wanted 85%. They got 85%. And I'm like, oh, but it's for you. So it was the worst and best stressful. But you know, having companies, there's tons of stresses. I had in one case a company called Boxlot that I started, that we had about $8 million worth of investment in the company. It was a private company, and we had this groundbreaking technology that we were building, and I was promising it was going to be done at a certain date. And literally a week before it was done, my engineering leads came to me and said, we found this bug. It's probably going to be another 6 months. And I'm like, what? All these people are depending on me. All these people are giving me money. And what am I going to do? You know, what lie am I possibly going to tell to get over this? I was 40, but then, by the way. And so I had somebody that was much older than me, that was my chief operating officer, that came from IBM. And he said, just tell the truth. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, just tell the truth. And so I wrote a long email to everybody. This is what happened. This is why it happened. This is why it was unexpected. This is what I'm doing about it. This is when we're expecting to have it done. Press send to about 50 investors. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, phone starts ringing off the hook, and I'm, fuck. First phone call. Thank you for being so honest. Do you need more money? Fifth phone call. You need any more money? You need any kind of help? 10th phone call. Hey man, that is so awesome. What can we do? Every single phone call I got were people that were really grateful that, you know, we're human. We fail. We fuck up all the time. And when you can own it and be really honest with people, and that's happened, by the way, in IdeaPros recently on another situation. But with that particular situation, whenever anything like that happens, you're really, really stressful. And if you're a Zen-like person, you have to be really empathetic. And when you're empathetic, you can feel the pain of the people around you. And if you're causing that pain in any way, really fucking sucks. You know, it's bad, but you deal with it.
Fred, how old are you?
I'm 71.
You look good for 71.
Well, thank you. If you didn't say the 471 part, I would have loved you more.
No. I mean, I would have gone with like 60.
Yeah, in fact, they're studying me at one of the universities. They're studying my blood because I'm, you know, really good shape, work out hard, big muscles, and I'm just nonstop. Don't need very much sleep, and I've been on this regimen for about 40 years now, this combination of amino acids and things. I read a study that they got a patent on. They did this research on rats, and the rats that they were given this combination of ingredients to lived to be like 70% longer and stayed healthy 90% longer. And so I started taking that shit 40 years ago, and we are
So,
in the
what
middle.
is it?
I'm not going to tell you because we are making a product that we're going to release it. And it's going to go right on your wrist, and it's going to give you these ingredients 24/7 for 6 months at a time until you have to change it. So stay tuned. It's coming out. You're going to live a lot longer and be happier.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Usually for breakfast, I'll have a little bit of plain yogurt, some berries. I might spoil myself with a piece of toast, but definitely every single day, a cappuccino with a heart and my cup that says patience.
Yeah. Hey, Josh and I set this goal to raise another 5 million by the end of the quarter. How do you feel about covering that for us?
That's it. I usually don't invest more than 50 or so.
Oh, you have minimums? Yeah. Is there anything else anything that you want to share that you feel compelled to share?
Yeah.
That maybe can help others out there, help small business owners, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
anybody drop some knowledge.
Yeah, I would say a couple things. Number one, go to official Fred Cary, Cary, and follow me on Instagram, because I really think that will help, because I talk about all the shit that Dad never said. In fact, all the shit that Dad never even knew. The reality is I'm 71 and I was 20 just that long ago. It comes by really fast. And as I'm sure you guys have experienced it already. It seems like birthdays are coming faster and faster. Yep, they are, because as a percentage, it's less and less of a percentage of your total age, right? And a 10-year-old kid told me this. When I was perplexed about this a decade ago, this little fucking 10-year-old came up to me and said, yeah, well, because when I turn 11, that's going to be 10% of my life. And when you get one more year, it's going to be shit, nothing. And so as you get older, those years are going to come faster and faster and faster, because it's a smaller and smaller percentage. The point being, even if you're 30 years old, you may have 40 or 50 New Year's left. That's it, even at 30. And so you need to take every single year that you have, every day that you have, and do something with it. Don't sit around and think about what you're going to do next year or next month or tomorrow. Do whatever you can in a day. So like me, when you go to sleep at night, last thing you think about, what was that one thing I did today that made a difference in my life, in my day, in the amount of enjoyment I got. We're here for a very, very short period of time. And be thankful you have a 44 trillion and one chance of even being born. You won the biggest fucking lottery in the world. Don't sit around and bitch and moan that life's not fair. You won the biggest lottery there is. Now do something with it.
I've heard that story. I don't remember. I heard it or read about it with the kids and the percentages. So you're 71. Do you still set goals? Like sometimes older people are like, I'm done. You know what I mean? I'm just managing stuff. Do you still set like annual goals or quarterly or?
Yeah, my goal is to retire by the time I'm 95.
Okay, never retire.
And I have goals all the time. I have daily goals. I'm probably more motivated now than I ever have been. One thing that age will give you, one of two things. It'll give you extraordinary stupidity or amazing clarity. And I fortunately fell on the second half of that. And the reason you get this clarity is because you do things for so long, things that to me seem second nature. For a lot of people, it would be like, oh, wow, yeah, I never thought of that. Well, I never thought of that 40 years ago, but then I thought of it a few times 35 years ago. And by the time I got to my age, it's old school for me. So this is the time in your life, especially now. I'm never tired. I literally have had 5 different 20-year-old guys come try to work out with me in my gym with my trainer in the morning. And in fact, if you search through Instagram, you'll see one of them just after they threw up. Out of the 5, 4 of them threw up and one of them stopped halfway through the workout. I'm not doing little kid stuff or old man stuff. I'm doing the same shit I was doing when I was 35 years old. And if you, in fact, I'm thinking of writing a book of abandoning and abolishing age. You know, that number that we have on ourselves is this just weight that we carry around with us all the time. And so my goals haven't ever changed: to be better, to be stronger, to be smarter, to work harder, to be nicer. Those goals are with me day in, day out, and they last day after day, decade after decade. And if you lose those things, you might as well just hang it up.
I like it. Throw age out the window. Oh my God. My brain is just sizzling over that.
Yeah, and you can get tons of guys like they hit 40 or 45, and it's just like, you know, it's over. I had a couple of new partners, 2 in a row, brand new partners. One was 60, one was 55. And the first call with me, it was like, I'm getting too old. I wanted to hand it over to younger people. I'm like, dude, I'm like 10 years older than you, or 15 years older than you. What are you talking about? And it's just that mentality. Lose the mentality. Forget about age. You know, it's a dumbass number. Humans invented a lot of things, and we invented age, and you know, we invented time, and we invented distance, because in the greater scheme of things, if the universe is infinite, what the fuck is distance anyway? You know, and what is time if the universe started 6-7 billion years ago and we lived to be 100 max? Time is like a little pimple on an elephant's ass. It's nothing. Forget about all that shit and just wake up in the morning and enjoy your life and do something meaningful.
How do we start that movement?
Well, start going to official Fred Cary and start doing everything I do in the morning, right? Wake up.
Cary for president. Hey, you know, but on the flip side, you know, age can be motivating, because like when I turned 40, I was like, shit, I gotta start making big moves, you know. So there's two sides to it, but yeah, but then the younger generation comes around and they're like, oh, you're old and shit, and I'm like, you're dumb, you're young and dumb, you know, you're stupid, you know.
Yeah, that's probably not a good way to start a dialogue.
No, I don't. I say that in my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you know, yeah. So, but I can see it as being motivating too. Like, hey, our time is limited, you know. But how long could we possibly live if we didn't know how long we could live? Who knows how that goes? You know, if you remove the limiting beliefs out of the human race, kind of like the 4-minute mile. We talked about that the other day, or the 6-minute mile, whatever that is. Once somebody cracks it, then everybody got past it. Like if humans already, one person gets past 120, then everybody gets past, or 150. You know, I don't know what the longest living person is. Yeah. And then everybody gets past it. It's just maybe just a horrible cultivating limiting belief that, you know, this I don't even know what we are. What we a populace? Genus? What do we talk?
Species.
Race, something that we have this limiting belief of. That
look, it's really, you know, it's like a computer. It's a 0 and a 1. You're on or you're off. You're not at 3/4 or anything. Just when you're on, stay on, and forget about most of the limitations that we have are imposed by the societies that we live in.
Right.
And those limitations are different. Proof of that is those limitations are different from country to country, from continent to continent. There's different rules and different regulations. People believe they're normal if they follow those rules and regulations. Just march to your own beat.
You're saying, okay, be passionate, right? That's basically what you're saying, right? But what if it ruffles other people's feathers, right? Or, you know, or it pisses some people off, and it's pisses some people off that are ahead of you, or
you gotta piss people off.
What that you gotta piss people off, but sometimes politically, people who are ahead of you that aren't necessarily more intelligent or have better leadership skills, right? So that's something that happens, and then they can do something to get recourse. You know, I'm getting all like conspiracy. But I mean, yeah, it's a constant thing with me to be more passionate and outspoken versus just kind of pick and choose where I can run my skills, you know?
Yeah, well, look, obviously, if you're working in a hierarchy in an employment in a place, you have to be politically sensitive and things like that, or go find your other job. You know, one of the things that I'm constantly on both Instagram and on TikTok, I'm constantly telling people, follow their own dream, do their own thing. You don't like working someplace, then go start your own thing. But the reality is, not everybody can do that. So one post I'm going to be doing here in the near future is about getting yourself your side gig, your side hustle, you know, and if you have these aspirations that don't really go along with the corporate structure that you have, you know, you use the corporate structure from 9 to 5 to pay the rent and the car and everything else, and use 5 to 9 afterwards with your side hustle to do what it is that you're really passionate about. Start growing that, and so sooner or later you're going to be able to be that open minded, outspoken person that you're talking about, because you're going to be your own boss.
You
Yeah,
got
totally.
you got 500,000 followers, but you're following 5. Can I be number 6, Fred?
The reason I only follow 5, and well, I think I follow 10 on TikTok actually. I only have 155,000 there. But the reason I don't follow very many people is, in fact, I was following my daughters and everything, and they get stalked and, you know, thousands of DMs, and you know, I don't recommend it, but we'll see.
I'll take it. I want it. I
Write
want
me-
it.
Write me
I
a
want
DM to see how many dick pics we can get you.
But yeah, that was good, Fred. I mean, for me personally, the assets I did acquire during my 20s allowed me to leave corporate America to do all these other things, just because like most people aren't going to come out and like don't have people to hit up for money. So definitely when you get out of college, like you got to get that job that's going to help you get some ammunition. I don't even look at money as money. It's just you need more ammunition to acquire more assets and things like that. So like, what's something that you'd recommend someone who maybe just starting out to do, that maybe they need to get cash quick, not in a sense like win the lotto, but like some sort of high skill jobs that like anyone can do?
Well, you're not going to get cash quick. But, you know, here's the
You got to sell something, Fred. If you got something, you just mark it up and you sell it.
Here's the problem. This is why there's so much disappointment in the world. we look at things that take a decade to do, and we want them done in a year or less, right? Forget that type of mentality. You can get so much done in a decade that you can't do in a year. So you can set your goals and your aspirations of what you want to do, where you want to be, but start being realistic. And when you have that entry-level job, like I said, pay yourself first. If it's $50 out of your paycheck, then it becomes $100 out of your paycheck. Just pay yourself first. That's the first step towards financial independence.
Sweet.
All right, man. That's Fred Cary. Follow him on Instagram. What's your handle, Fred?
Official Fred Cary on Instagram, Cary, and Mentor and Muse on TikTok, which is very entertaining, engaging, and I have a beautiful, smart co-host on there that together I think we're doing a lot of good things.
When's the book come out?
Probably 3 or 4 months from now.
What's it called? Do we know yet?
We do, but for some stupid reason, I'm not allowed to say yet.
Is it going to be on Audible?
But it should be, because I've got a pretty nice voice. But it should. It's on purpose-driven entrepreneurship, really, on how to change your life, change your career, and be happier in the meantime.
All right, we'll keep our eye out for that one. And I think Fred is never going. You're doing 800 million. I don't even know, but if never going to be broke again. I think we covered the holistic approach a lot today. And if you get the holistic approach right, you can get the rest right, and find a hole in an industry.
Yep.
I like it. All right. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Fred.
All right. You've been awesome.
Bye, Fred.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.